Welcome to the astrology of the week of October 21st to the 27th, 2024. We're going to cover how Mars is engaging in some very interesting developments with the big heavy hitters, those outer planets of Neptune and Uranus, that is mostly positive for us, as well as a sweet and short flow between Mercury and Saturn. However, the major story of this week isn't about this week. It's what is pending or building up for next week, which will be, yes, Halloween week, yes, the beginning of the build up to the United States, November the 5th election. And that is when Mars will come into that opposition to Pluto, who's at the very last degree of Capricorn. This is going to be explosive, intense, and it's a part of a larger cycle of Mars coming into contact with Pluto. So rather than cover that today, I'm going to cover that on my week ahead video next week. So just know that things this week are kind of like pulling back a bow or a drawstring or something for the momentum of next week. What Mars is doing this week, he completes or compels himself to act on next week, okay? So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. Fixed stars and minor asteroids are part of what I use to help you time your best life. Yes, using astrology as a navigational tool. Otherwise, why listen? Don't forget, you can listen for your sun and moon and rising today as I delineate this week ahead for you. Think of your sun as your eternal essence, your signature self, your core self. Think of the rising sign as the character that you're playing in this matrix or simulation, right? And the sun is the character player, the real you. And think of the moon to connect to, you think it's a matter things to do with your body and your mind and how you feel about yourself and your life, but also often home and home matters, like where you live. So first of all, let me start off by saying the only thing I'm promoting right now, just so you know, is if you want to grab my 2025 up to 2-hour videos for your sign, that's my Time Your Best Life for 2025 fundraising videos. You can buy the bundle, all signs, listen to Sun, Moon, and Rising, share with friends and family, buy your individual sign. It's a pre-sale. I'm producing the content now. You get it delivered to you November the 17th. A few people bought it and said, where's the meat? I'm like, guys, you're buying it as I'm making this stuff. And you're helping me raise money for microphones and lighting kits and time stampers and people to help me grow my channel. All right, people I need to hire. So please don't forget, that's all I have to share with you, but I'll pin to the comments in the description box below is that information to grab that before the pre-sale price ends on November the 15th. All right. So first of all, a lot of people who watch my channel have asked me to look at the chart of Lebanon. And while this video for this week ahead is going to primarily be about what you can expect with this flow between Mars and Neptune, a trine, and this flow to Uranus, which is a sextile. We're going to focus on that for your sign, although I will cover that. And you can jump to your sign if you want. A little bit of the front end of my channel is always about world events in the light of astrology. I've got election video series already out. Go check my description box and go look on my channel. You can find out what I've said about the election. I did have some predictions come true. I did predict Trump would be facing an assassination attempt a week before, after the date it actually happened. I mean, I said it would be in that range of time. I mentioned that Walsh would be the pick for VP and more. So there's a lot of stuff about astrology that can be useful for looking at the world events and likely getting a sense of what's most, primarily likely to happen. I also said Joe Biden would step down. I got so much flack for saying he would no longer be the nominee for the president. I got so much flack from so many of you, but I started saying that last April. So if you like predictive astrology to do with world events, then you're in the right place. But timestamps are here and chapters. Click the title of the video and jump to your chapter for your sign. Otherwise, let's talk Lebanon. People have asked me to do that. I have listeners in Lebanon, and I'm only going to talk astrology. I am not telling you my opinion of what Israel, Iran, and everybody else, Hezbollah, are up to. I'm just telling you the world astrology. So do not troll me in the comments. Number one, every time that Lebanon, I'm going to show you Lebanon's chart, every time that Lebanon has gone through an eclipse cycle through the signs of Pisces and Aries, Lebanon has come into times of civil strife and war with other nations. So this is a historical pattern for this nation formed in 1943. We are seeing it back again, only because we just had that first eclipse on September the 17th in the sign of Pisces. Pisces for Lebanon as a Virgo rising nation, is a house of open enemies and adversaries. And indeed, that was the beginning of the problem in which Israel was coming into their territory. Incursions, missiles, ground forces, etc., have been picking up since the middle of September. I'm recording this on October 20th. I haven't even looked today at what's going on, but because Israel also has assassinated the leader of Hezbollah, that also is a part of the eclipse that occurred on September the 17th. Big actions by rival countries, big actions by open enemies within the territory of Lebanon. What happened the last time we had this cycle of eclipses, which was 2006 to 2008, is we had the Lebanon War. And that is a very big deal. That war was extremely important because it had a huge amount of influence on the trajectory of the country to this day. It was called the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah War, also known in Lebanon, by the way, as the July War, and also called by Israel the Second Lebanon War. You're probably wondering, Second Lebanon War, why? Because Israel went to war by invading Lebanon and throwing bombs at Lebanon in 1982. Hope I got the date right. Yes, I do. And in 1982, my memory serves me, that was how Hezbollah was formed. Hezbollah was formed because Israel had gone in and invaded the country and therefore created a huge resistance movement from the Shia type of militias. Basically, Hezbollah is Shia and it is the party of God. So we can say that the war that we're currently having with Hezbollah Israel is something that started because or in the milieu of an Israeli invasion into Lebanon in 1982. Now, just because that's my memory of that war, I'm just going to double check that for us, make sure I got the date right. Because I am an astrologer, I'm not your historian, right? And don't troll me. I did some research, and here's what I've got. So basically, what happened was back then, because it's tied to what's happening in Lebanon now, and these eclipses as well. Basically, Israel sought to end the Palestinian attacks from Lebanon and destroy the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and wanted to install a pro Israel Maronite Christian government, and they have a Sunni government normally in Lebanon, by the way. And so Israel forces were trying to overthrow the PLO positions in southern Lebanon. So you end up with a story where what happened, in my view, is Israel wanted a regime change. Does that sound a little familiar? Imperialist policies worldwide, and tried to enact a regime change and failed, and actually created this resistance movement called Hezbollah. So what we end up with then is that thing that was started in 1982 keeps flaring up over and over again. So back in 2006 to 2008, the Lebanon War was what was happening. And that Lebanon War is a critical thing about how we can see the repeating cycles over and over again. This particular war that occurred back in 2006, the Lebanon War, right, is known to have caused a huge amount of death of Palestinians, of Lebanese civilians and displacement of civilians as well. And we're already seeing that kind of thing reoccurring and happening again. And it happened because of a 2006 cross-border raid. All right, Hezbollah crossed the border and made a raid, fired rockets at Israeli border towns. And so you can see the whole idea of borders being crossed, incursions and attacks across borders, border raids is what started the war again, this time in the Palestinian conflict or in the Hamas conflict. So Israeli soldiers were captured, taken by Hezbollah to Lebanon. So we also had a hostage situation back in 2006, which is probably why Israel created the Hannibal Imperative, which was to basically kill its own citizens rather than have them be taken hostage, or kill its own military if they're being taken hostage. So that's something to consider. If you don't know what the Hannibal policy is, like Hannibal Lecter, go check it out. So the reason I'm telling you this is not to depress you, but to tell you how cycles repeat. Go back. So this does not bode well. I'm going to tell you what one more cycle. I mean, if we consider that we just had the eclipse in September, we're going to go into an 18-month to 2-year window of time in which the problem in Lebanon vis-a-vis Israel is not going away. Now, in 1987 to 1989, we also had the same eclipse cycle moving through the first house of the nation of Israel. This was not a good time for the country at all. Basically, Lebanon's political crisis deepened because two rival governments, okay, so basically we're talking about now 1988, two rival governments were claiming authority of the country. So there was this big debacle that was occurring at the time about who was in charge. And basically, the country was split apart. Parliament was unable to elect a new president. The outgoing president, named someone to take his place. It was a bit of a problem. Let's put it that way. The Maronite, which is a Christian faction, appointed a new prime minister. They said, this is who we're doing. And they appeared at the presidential palace for the first time. And then the Muslim officers for the Sunni government were boycotting this whole thing. And basically it became a nightmare of a provisional government and a fight over who was in charge. And there was a lot of, violation of Lebanon's constitutional tradition and national covenants, because basically they have a covenant that the party in power is not to be anything but Sunni. And that was breaking a legitimate constitutional precept. So there's that hell of a handbasket, that whole intensity back in 1988, 89. And yes, like Prime Minister Rashid Karami was killed in a helicopter crash in 1987, which precipitated the crisis. So we see two things going on. I'm not going to keep going back to history, but 87 to 89, an attempt for a regime change, basically, right? And a helicopter crash with the president in 87. I mean, let's face it, was that helicopter just accidentally falling down out of the sky, or was it targeted in order to effect a regime change? So the attempts to create regime changes in the nation of Lebanon, and I don't know for sure that that's true, it just seems common sense these days, 87 to 89, 2006 to 2008, we'll say Lebanon comes into conflict with its regional neighbors, particularly Israel, and also regime changes and attempts at regime changes seem to be underway. And that's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm seeing in the story. And by the way, by the time the 2006-2008 Lebanon war whole nightmare finally finished up, there was a Doha agreement reached by rival Lebanese factions in May of 2008 in Doha, Qatar, ending an 18-month-long political crisis that followed from Israel's invasion of Lebanon in 2006. So basically, the political crisis came to a ending, and yeah, I'm just making sure I don't miss anything, because the Lebanon government was trying to disarm Hezbollah, and there became a huge amount of problems in the country. I'm not going to go on reading, just knowing that the story does not look good. And lastly, I'll show you the solar return for the nation of Lebanon, and we'll talk about that as well. Remember, Lebanon is a Virgo rising, and this is a solar return chart that's coming into being November the 20th, 2024. Its birthday is November 22nd, just so you know. And at this point, before the election in the United States, Joe Biden has said to the nation of I in the Middle East, we're not going to send any more weapons if you don't send food aid and humanitarian aid to Gaza. But at this point, this is going to be post-election. Here's the birthday chart of Lebanon. And you'll notice a few things. You'll see that we have this Mars having crossed over into the fourth house of home property and the territory of the country in the solar return, because don't forget, the nation is actually a Virgo rising. I'll show you that chart as well. But that is indicating that there can be conflict on home territory, and that can definitely look like civil strife. There's no doubt about it. I find it ironic that Joe Biden's son is co-joined, of course, the son of Lebanon's solar return. Biden is a sun at 27 degrees of Scorpio. Well, there may be a lot of engagement with the US president in the early part of the story, because obviously he won't be the president next year. So maybe in November and December into January, before there is actually a new inauguration in the United States of America. We, the people, the moon, the people, are conjunct the IC, the root and foundation of the country, in good dignity. But Mars is, of course, not too far away and has already crossed over the moon, the people. And that is indicating there's already civil strife or difficulty or fear and war going on in the country, because Mars crossed over the moon, the people of the country. All right. And if I show you, their chart, the chart of the actual nation of Israel, oops, Yes, Lebanon on the outside wheel. Lebanon is an ascendant in the sign of Virgo, right over here. And in this solar return chart, the ascendant of Virgo with the moon, which Lebanon is kind of born with an ascendant moon and Chiron conjunction. So that could indicate the identity of the country is wounded. Now, it was formed in 1943 through post-World War II, colonial powers just dividing land up. And they divided it up in a way that may not have been ideal. So a wounded national identity from the inception, and the moon as well being there, suggesting the people are also not like super clear, the pearl of the Middle East, the gem of the Middle East, the jewel of the Middle East. Lebanon did have a heyday, but it also went through a multi-year civil war. So its very identity has a wound from the very, very start. With Mars, unfortunately, and I'm worried about this, with Mars sitting on the Pluto part of this chart that represents plutonium explosions and difficulty, you can see that the natal Pluto north node of the country of this is the first house of the nation of Lebanon. This is 12th house matters. Now, that's all secrets, backroom deals, and negotiations, but just on a literal notion, in the home and homeland is Pluto energy. So there's definitely some destruction, some war, some death, or maybe some massive power struggles and civil strife going on. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to only be November of 24 to 25. It's probably going to go into early 26 based on eclipses. The eclipses on our next cycle for the country are going to run through September of this year through to March of 2026. And the March of 2026 eclipse, which is lunar, is right on the ascendant of the nation of Israel. So that means that this is a country, south node, losing an identity, going through turmoil and turbulence, having to deal with opposing forces or open enemies during this cycle in the sky of this particular Virgo and Pisces axis. The descendant of the nation of did I say Israel? I hope I keep saying Lebanon. The descendant of the nation of Lebanon in its natal chart, right, descendant at 9 degrees of Pisces, is sitting with Saturn in the solar return. So it can be hardship or difficulty regarding constriction, regarding enemies or open enemies or adversaries as well. If I was just to only give you this, well, I can do one more for you. This is a solar return chart here for 2023 to 24's birthday. And this time, the astronomical birthday is November 21st. The astrological birthday is always different. Usually, not always, but a day before or after. But astronomically, here's the turning point. Don't forget, this is last fall's beginning, but it covers the whole gestalt or zeitgeist of the year, or the age of the nation. And in this particular solar return, the god of death, Pluto, and the underworld and destruction and chaos and trauma is on the ascendant of the nation itself, and the nation itself is acting as if it is very Capricornian, trying to be very resourceful or stoic in the face of adversity. Let's put it that way. Open enemies is ruled by the moon. The moon is on Saturn in the area of the chart that represents neighbors. So it shows that there's hardship with open enemies who are neighbors happening for Lebanon starting last fall. And of course there was, because there were Hezbollah fighters, targeting its neighbor Israel. And of course, Lebanon is where the Hezbollah hierarchical structures are living and forming themselves. The sun always represents a national leader, right? And there's Mars, which is cutting, ending, and severing. And that could indicate, of course, not so much the actual governmental leadership of Lebanon, but the end of the Hezbollah leader, Nasrallah. I think I said his name right, because this can mean like secret spy, Scorpio, targeting death of a leader. We also know that exploding pagers happened and other devices. That's really sad. And that, of course, is something similar. Mars is explosives, and Mars is potentially a part of that story in this chart as well. And let me just do one more thing. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. This part of the chart, the 11th house, is representing the month of September in this year's chart, which is ruled by Mars, which is explosives and stealth and killing and cutting and dividing. And unfortunately, I think September is when those exploding pagers were happening, right? I believe it was in September, not in October. So, technically these things are this year, this 12th house can represent the month, the transitional energies of October. This is October in this chart, ruled by a Jupiter, October of 2024. This is the 12th house of this particular sky you're looking at, ruled by a Jupiter. Jupiter is sitting in this particular solar return sky down here with Uranus on the IC. You can't really see what that might mean here. It's an inversion. But what about this? Mercury is conceivable in the middle of October. Some backroom deals and negotiations were trying to happen and maybe still trying to happen in November. Mercury in the house of backroom deals and negotiations, in order to forestall or to remedy what can be a conflagration and a Middle East expanding war, regional war. All right, so those are some thoughts. So the bottom line I want to say is this. The nation of Israel has always had problems, whether they're civil, whether they're wars with their neighbors, whether mostly I'm seeing regime change things happen. When we go through these eclipse cycles. And because I keep seeing that, like the Pluto Mars in this year ahead in the 4th house of land and homeland, this looks like at least for the next year, this conflict may continue. If it's going to change, it will change in March of next year. If there's going to be a break, then beginning next March, there may be a massive change. But between now and March, I'm not feeling positive that this problem that's going on with Lebanon will stop. And finally, there's one more thing I'm going to say, and I know I'm going to get flack. I know you're going to give me a lot of hardship here, guys. But someone asked me to do the chart, so there it is. Go check out Google Greater Israel, go check out the Jerusalem Post and find out what the religious component of the leadership of the country is looking to create, which is a Greater Israel, which is a Zionist map, which happens to include Lebanon. So taking Lebanon is part of the plan, when you're looking at it from a religious perspective. And I think it's ironic, that, the big problem, did I say Israel? The big problem with Iran is it's theocratic and it's religious, but then so is Israel. Neither one is without a religious impetus behind what they do and what they choose to do. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and talk about your sign, and we're going to give you a glow up, I hope, because this isn't a decent week ahead. So let's get away from that hot mess, and we'll move to the transit chart instead, which is a much nicer spot to go. And we're starting, of course, with Aries. I want to talk to you about, first, I'll just show you what's going on this week so that you'll all understand it, and then we'll go ahead and do Aries, just so you can see the sky itself. All right. And we're going to start, obviously, on the 21st. Okay, so on the 21st. So basically on Monday, you're going to notice a couple of things happening in the sky on Monday, and we'll take out that ascendant. We don't need it. We're just no longer doing that kind of astrology. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. It does help the channel grow. If you think you're subscribed to my channel, you're probably not. Go check that out. I keep getting people telling me that they were unsubscribed by YouTube, but it's happening en masse lately. I'm having a lot of dumping out the bottom of my bucket again of subscribers. My views are normal. Everything else is normal. It's just that for some reason, YouTube thinks it's scrubbing bots, but what it's doing is deleting subscribers. So please, please, please double check that you're still subscribed, because it's been a really bad 30 days of literally, I can see, like I'll look at my subscribers and I'll go down like 15 in 10 seconds. It's just like YouTube's just dumping people out. And I don't know, it's not from the videos I put out. It's a pattern I've seen happen when YouTube thinks it's cleaning my channel up from closed accounts and bots, but I don't know if it's punitive or what. Now, let's go. Let's talk about the sky. You'll notice that Mercury at 12 degrees on Monday, the 21st, is talking to Saturn at 12 degrees, and they're moving toward each other because Saturn is, stationary retrograde. Saturn's barely moving. Saturn's like stalled out because Saturn's going to turn around November 15th. But I mean, in other words, a slow moving Saturn is facing a fast moving Mercury, and they're coming toward each other. What could that possibly mean? What could that mean? Well, here's an idea of what it could possibly mean. Mercury wants to deliver all the news that's fit to print. He happens to be sitting next to an asteroid called Artemis, the childless, independent, unmarried female huntress with her hunting dogs. Predatory, but fiercely independent, protector of women in childbirth, and patron of midwifery. I didn't draw Artemis in there, but she's right beside Mercury. It could mean, for example, oh, wait a minute. No, she's not beside Mercury. Or could she be beside Mercury? Yeah, she is beside Mercury. She is. And so that means is that things to do with women's reproductive rights, Monday, Tuesday, could be in the news cycle, big time. That's what it could mean. Or a strong female who's independent and feisty could be in the news cycle, like Kamala Harris, for example. Not say she's strong or not strong, but she didn't have biological children, right? So that's an example of an archetype that's like Artemis, or, similar to the huntress herself. Diana, Artemis are the same god. So there's that happening. Mercury's with Saturn, who rules tradition, things that are traditional. This is also for the nation of ISIREL. I've said it a million times. Forget the algorithm. The nation of Israel is going to say this is backroom deals and negotiations going on. Oh, sorry. This is the second house of money and financial matters and economic matters. Going on in that country, and Mercury, there could be economic news for the nation of Israel, who is an economic hardship at this point. But Saturn is also hardship, but it's flowing. In your own lives, it's kind of nice, right? In your own lives, you're probably going to not matter. It won't feel difficult for you. In your own lives, it'll feel easy. Joe Biden has his sun, which represents leader. Mercury is news. Biden news Monday and Tuesday. Saturn, Yeah. So some news about Biden may come out as well Monday and Tuesday, and may not be so bad, actually. Biden may do some kind of celebrity event or something, talking to traditional Saturn in the house of celebrities in the entertainment industry. So again, it's a soft touch sky in the beginning of this week, and so nothing to worry about Monday, Tuesday. When we move away from the Monday, Tuesday narrative, then we're gonna go sort of shifting gears, moving our gears into the Mars story. It's pretty well a Mars dominated week. What Mars is doing is what matters. Mars is moving through his sign of debility, or the sign of his fall. He's moving through Cancer. Don't forget, he's going to be here. I keep reminding everybody forever. Although he will leave on November the 3rd, 4th, he'll be back again in January 6th through to April 18th. And that's all because of retrogradation. So he's already been here since September. So fighting for one's homeland, patriotism, fierce nationalism, fierce desire to protect family, fighting within the family, conflict that's driven by emotions and not logic or analysis, that kind of thing, berserker stuff, right? That can be there as well. And Mars rules all things to do with sharp objects and kinetic objects, what I mean, right? And things that harm people that you would hold in your hand and aim. I'm just trying to avoid flagging words for my channel. So Mars rules all of that. The word shoot, ER, is part of Mars. And so this is going to be where things are going. We're going to see that Mars coming into an opposition to Pluto, but not at the last degree of Capricorn, going direct, last in a lifetime Mars-Pluto contact, last in a lifetime Mars-Pluto contact. I've got a ton of videos about Pluto and Capricorn. Go watch them, and then Pluto and Aquarius. But this story is that when we get to the 3rd of the month of November, we have almost a perfect or exact partile opposition between Mars and Pluto. And now Pluto is already being engaged by Mars before that, as around Halloween, about October 30th to November the 3rd, explosive, intense, and difficult things could be occurring in the world. So we'll cover that next week. In the meantime, before we get there this week, we don't have too bad a situation. Starting about Wednesday through till Sunday, we're going to notice that Mars, rather than being so hooked up with Pluto, is having a very interestingly positive conversation, a flowing and easier conversation with Neptune here, who's retrograde. And retrograde Neptune is where some of the illusion and the rose-colored glasses are giving way to a more clear-eyed view, a less foggy view of what's happening. It's like Neptune rolls back the fog and pulls back the illusion. So we see what things are fantasy and real. Mars is cutting, ending, and severing and defogging. And then we see also that this flows to Uranus, and that makes a mini grand trine. And those are auspicious positive energies in our sky this week. I almost feel like this week it's like there's going to be like an attempt at a major intervention regarding this situation in the Middle East. Yeah, it could also be the resolution of any other conflict in the world. Mars is conflict. And possibly with the sun still traveling through Libra for peace treaties. We may see an end to a situation such as the Ukraine and Russia conflict begin to emerge as I hope springs eternal moment in the sky this week. Let's hope. Let's just hope. Putin is a Scorpio rising, and there's Mercury, the news, with Putin's Scorpio rising identity, bringing this more positive news Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday. It is possible that we may be seeing something happen there that's going to look like an end, a termination, finally, and a peace deal around that waste of lives, Now, right here is Uranus on Algol, that fixed star that was activated on July the 15th. And that was the Trump assassination on his midheaven, with the star being activated by Mars and Uranus. The Mars-Uranus conjunction isn't about what just happened on July the 15th, but rather it's what is going to happen over the next 2 years in the Taurus part of the collective sky and in the Taurus part of your own chart. I did a video on that. Please go watch it. I'll try to remember to pin it to the comments. But what I would say is that Algol and Uranus are almost perfectly conjunct this week, and this is intense energy. Fixed star Algol is a star connected to the demon's head, the Medusa's severed head. It has to do with trauma stories. It has to do with stories to do with corpses and rotting bodies and people losing their head. But yet I don't mind it so much because of the flow from Mars and the flow from Neptune. So situations in which people seem to have lost their head, so to speak, whether it's their titular head, like head of a country, or whether it's their, they lost their head, lost their mind, then we may see some kind of soft landings here. And with Mercury continuing forward, it kind of ends up creating a kind of arrow in the sky as time goes on. So we may see some major news stories that turn corners on places of greater intensity. Uranus is sitting with Kamala Harris's Jupiter. Uranus is sitting in this little mini grand trine with who else is positions at 24 Taurus? Donald Trump's midheaven. So it's not too bad for Trump. It's going to be a good week ahead for Donald Trump, relatively speaking, and it's going to be a good week for maybe Kamala with this mini trine ahead. And who else gets some really good juice out of this particular sky? The nation of Israel's sun, which represents its leader, at any given time, is at 23 degrees of Taurus. So things to do with the leadership of Israel, things to do with Kamala, things to do with Trump are seemingly having a kind of a nice vibe flow as we see this energy playing out through our sky on Wednesday through to Monday. Let's go ahead and do all signs. Let me clear that mess, and let's start with Aries. Okay, before I do, I might need a bit of chocolate. I'll be right back. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss a thing. You really don't. All right, let's get going. I just had a cold chill, so I had to get a sweater and a bit of chocolate. It's cold, rainy, and monsoon storms here in Vancouver, Canada. All right. October 21st, yeah. So we're talking about Monday, and then we can see that eventually, as I mentioned, this thing is forming in the sky. And so, it really becomes active Wednesday through to Sunday. Let's go ahead and talk about your sign Wednesday through to Sunday. Aries sun, Aries moon, and rising. So number one, you're going to notice that you have maybe potentially some good news coming out of your eighth house of chunky money early this week. Could be to do with taxes, insurance, inheritances, money you share with a spouse, the money you resource together, maybe money with a bank or investments, that kind of thing. So some good financial money news may emerge with especially a kind of forensic investigation, uncovering something here. And it's flowing to Saturn in the 12th house. Some of this money may be pertaining to foreign people, foreign shores, foreign places, or some elder person connected to hospitals. So, great grandpa Joe is in the hospital and he just found out he wants to give you all of his stamp collection or something like that. And so there's that kind of early start this week. It's a trine, so it won't be shocking. It should be perceived as positive. This is Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday. Then Wednesday through to Sunday, we get to see this mini grand trine formation in your sky. Maybe it'll help if I get that trine to be visible a little bit. All right, we don't want the moon in there. She's moving way too fast. So let's get rid of her. I never do the moon stuff. It's just a fleeting day-long event, and then it just gets way too busy. Okay, so then we see Mars flowing to Uranus, and the whole thing right here, right? There's the trine. So we're noticing it's quite busy and quite deep and obvious on Thursday, but it goes through till Sunday. And so this mini trine is going to offer up a sweet spot regarding surprising developments regarding your money, your earnings and your possessions, your resources financially. Uranus is like, or getting rid of an addiction with ease and grace. Money coming from mom and dad, our family of origin, money coming from something connected to land, property, home, and real estate. But again, it's a nice little sweet spot Wednesday through to Sunday because Uranus is in a money house, and Algol can be a wealth star. So you may have some unexpected money stories, but it could be from your past. You got to remember both Neptune and Uranus are retrograde. So things that have already been seeded from the past and are being revisited about finances in a good way. All right, may likely play out. Mars could be for you Aries risings talking about a change of home, and with Mars's general flow to Mercury in the 8th house, change of home and mortgage financing, refinancing, new rental contracts or agreements that offer up auspicious financial opportunity are many ways that this can be parsed for you. And some of you may also want to travel to a foreign country. And under this influence, you may have the money or the resources to book that trip, or a surprising desire to travel and to get away from it all, far, far away from home, and go off somewhere and get some downtime. You may not take the trip, but you could definitely book or plan the trip, especially with Venus in your 9th house, loving exotic and foreign land adventures for sure. The only other thing I'd say here, Mars has been in your 4th house for a couple of months, and that's where you could have had domestic conflict or arguing with cohabitants of your home and your significant others, etc. That's a bit of a challenge. If you've been any kind of gritty, bickering, fighting stance with people you live with, it's soothing, smoothing, and softening up for sure this week ahead, Wednesday through to Sunday. Now we're going to go ahead and talk all about, the next sign. Please tell me I'm not pinned to Aries 0. I think I am. Give me a minute, guys. No, I'm not. I'm not pinned to Aries 0. Software is being a bugger. It literally won't advance the chart. I've never seen this happen. Ha 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 ha. Okay. It says it's pinned to 0 Aries and it's not. If you ever get Astro Gold, you're going to notice that anytime you try to move from whole sign houses to anything else, it doesn't work. You have to do what I'm doing, and no matter what. And it really is irritating as heck. Okay. So thanks, software developers, for the glitch in your system. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. The thing going on here for you Taurus folk is that you're going to experience Monday, Tuesday, maybe into Wednesday, Mercury coming into a very flowing conversation here with Saturn. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Good news for your spouse, good news about your spouse, good news with your business partners, good outcomes with marketing and selling clients and marketplace for your work, good positive developments regarding things that you want to do legally, like a legal contract or agreements. Those can go very well Monday through Wednesday. And Mercury is flowing to Saturn, and Saturn's in the house of social groups of belonging and career gains as well. Some of you Tauruses may find yourself signing some legal contracts that smooth out your career gains, signing some legal contracts that allow for, positive developments with your spouse or significant other. And they may just have some good news, like some important person in your life has got something good to say. They just got something really going well vis-a-vis 11th house matters. Meaning friends, allies, benefactors, and career gains in their life could be benefiting you as well, if you're married, of course, or with someone. Saturn is also sitting in a retrograde position. So, your partner could tell you Monday through Wednesday about things from the past that are now bearing some positive developments for them, especially if it's regarding a career matter. They may have some positive shifts this week. When we look forward to the Wednesday through Sunday story, it's kind of like a soft, gentle, lucky energy that opens up the luck between Mars and Neptune, the goodness, the trine, the opportunity. You may have an opportunity to travel with an elder sibling, to travel with a friend, to travel for work, to get more money gains through travel. Mars is a traveler, even just domestic or local travel. So travel things that wake you up here Wednesday through to Sunday are going to have a feel good vibe, and you're going to find some grace and luck emerge. And that can also include traveling with a significant other. Mars rules your spousal house. And there's also this energy where you are the one with the electrical currents of aha, the pineal gland downloads, the breaking the rules, the rebellious streak. You are being a fixed sign who doesn't like change, willing to go for some erratic stimulation here with Uranus. And so I feel like you're going to find maybe you break out of a mold in your own life by taking a trip. Could be romantic, could be just for fun, could be a trip with a group of belonging, could be a trip connected to an elder sibling. So trips look very positive for you on Wednesday through Sunday. And I feel like if that's true, if you're going to go on a trip, you're also going to find there can be some sense of liberation or freedom from something, freedom to be you, or feeling free Wednesday through Sunday. You might also come up with some kind of sense of breaking through, some kind of problem in your long-term committed love relationship, if you have one, because Uranus is connected to that Mars ruling your seventh. It's like, wow, a dreamy, glowy breakthrough condition regarding my long-term committed love story is possible. Hey, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. It starts off this week. Don't forget to check my 2025 All Signs bundle pre-sale below. Geminis. It starts off by saying Mercury, the Lord of your sign, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, has a affinity for positive developments regarding work and health, pets, and rentals. He rules your fourth house of properties in the house of rental agreements for tenancies. Sixth house matters. You may find a new development or positive development regarding property and rental, but also Mercury's flowing to Saturn in your 10th house of career and reputation, making the story very connected to good news, positive developments, good outcomes. Usually emails, phone calls, and texts are very mercurial around work situations and career matters. Saturn's retrograde has been since June, so some career opportunities that can connected to people from your past or the past in general are emerging this week, and Mercury's meeting them head on and saying, let's sign on the dotted line, let's have that phone call or text or email. Something good in work and career for sure is occurring for you, definitely Monday through Wednesday. Pay attention to your inbox. Mercury loves to dish out the emails these days. Very few of us may get a snail mail as well. Then we move forward and we talk about this mini trine that's forming for the week ahead, that's very auspicious and blessed. Mars, even though he's been having a hard time, maybe you've been working too hard to make money. Maybe you've been spending more money than you want. Mars is in your second house of earnings, resources, and possessions. Maybe your voice has been more combative and argumentative than it normally is. Mars is like very emo here, and you might have had a few off the handle moments with your voice aimed at wherever you aim it. And yet at the same time, this week ahead, Mars is like, I want to make a flow glow up happen. And Mars says, I am connecting to Neptune in the 10th house, a retrograde. Career, dreamy outcomes in career, photography, filmmaking, writing, storytelling, screenplays, glamour, Hollywood, those things. But Neptune retrograde just means dreamy visions for your career that you've had in the past, rolling back into a realism, certainly with Saturn up there, realism, and those realistic dreams and goals that are attainable in your career and reputation space. Mars supports that this week. He's like, got you back Wednesday through Sunday. All of your hard work, all of your actions are going to lead to some of these actualizations of the goals you've held for yourself in the work and career space. And also, Mars is going to be in a flow to Uranus, the god of surprises, in the 12th house. 12th house, if you're talking about money, Mars is in a money house, and 10th house, money career, would be international companies, working for them, getting hired by them, international borderless revenue and income, commerce and trade with far off foreign shores and foreign people. And so there's this kind of pop in the financial story, Wednesday through to Sunday. And given that Mars rules your sixth house of work itself, it's definitely something to do with money through work, most likely. But I will give you guys one caveat with Pluto in the eighth house of inheritance, Uranus in the house of hospitals, and Mercury in the house of debts, you may be able to quite suddenly be able to pay off a debt financially, maybe through some money through family of origin or inheritance money. That's one way to look at that. I'll be right back. And now I got to turn the heat off in my house. I'm up and down like a yo-yo, guys. Up and down like a yo-yo. It's hot and it's cold. Remember Katy Perry? It's hot and it's cold. You're in and you're out. You're up and you're down. Oh my God. Could be my theme song for cold Vancouver in an older place without good window sealants. All right. Moving into the next. Oh, by the way, you're just lucky. Come on, Jupiter in the first house, right? I mean, yes, he's retrograde, so he's going inward, inner guru, go inward. But you are luckier than you normally would be with this placement. So don't worry about it all. You got some kind of guardian angel watching over you through till next June. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. We start the week ahead. We have Mercury in a really nice soft direction of contact to Saturn. Communications projects are what he rules, especially in the fifth house. But this is like, so you might be writing a book, doing an artistic or creative project that requires ideas and communications. Flowing to Saturn in the ninth, meaning book publishing particularly could be auspicious for any Cancer rising, looking to secure a publications deal of some sort. Also, the fifth house is your children. Get news one of your children goes off to university, got accepted at their favorite school. One of your children's going to move to a far off foreign shore. You're happy for them. One of your children's going to tell you you're going to be a grandparent. Those are all possibilities. Cancers with Mercury in the fifth house flowing to Saturn in the ninth house of grandchildren. Ninth house can be visas, foreign lands, and foreign shores. And of course, fifth house is leisure travel. So you may have opportunities emerge to take or plan or book a leisure travel abroad coming up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. As we move into Wednesday through to Sunday, basically, we start to see this energy of a mini grand trine forming in the sky. And that's Mars in your sign, right? Your sun sign, your career, your moon sign, your body home, your rising, everything about you. There's Mars sitting right there. And he is saying, you have been decisive, action taking, bold, maybe aggressive, combative, maybe a bit emotionally agitated, especially with your Cancer moon. But this is since September, you've been feeling this Mars energy. Maybe aiming it sometime at your spouse or your children. But this is Mars also giving you capability to be more decisive, to choose what you want in life. And he's going to flow up to Neptune starting Wednesday through Sunday. And that's some kind of decisions you might want to make regarding higher education, book publishing, far off foreign lands and travel. Third marriages, decisions you might want to make around spiritual philosophy, spiritual ideologies. And you're not so dreamy up there. Neptune is retrograde, so you have a more clear-eyed view. Dharma, the purpose and meaning of your life, is another thing that Neptune's doing up there, helping you see as a waves and fog roll back what kinds of life purposes, what kinds of directions you really want, especially in work with Chiron in your 10th. You're really just trying to find your truest purpose at this juncture and have been since 2019 when it comes to work career matters. But the mini trine flows to Uranus as well. And that means it's something to do here, with your 11th house of good spirit is really active. Some superior blessings may come through from a sibling, one older than you, this Wednesday through Sunday. through somebody connected to your colleagues, coworkers space, a revolutionary, erratic, exciting new direction that you see possible regarding the way you have gains in your career. Neptune may say dreamy outcomes with legal matters connected to career gains as well. Bureaucracy, red tape, clearing the red tape, human resources, finally getting you the right paycheck. Human resources is ninth house stuff. So work and career matters, especially around work and career monies, are really the positive focal point of Wednesday through to basically Sunday. Okay. So hopefully that's somewhat useful for you. And if any of you were thinking you wanted to rent a property or move a property or change a property, Venus in the house of rentals flows to the south node in the fourth house, giving that a nice glow this week ahead as well. Just a little extra for you there. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Mercury in the beginning of the week is having a conversation Mondays through Wednesday that looks like some good news to do with land, property, home, real estate, or people with whom you live in your domestic environment connected to chunky money. Good news around inheritance monies, good news around spousal shared resources, good news around an investment, financing, banks, mortgages, and loans. These matters are in your attention field Monday through Wednesday, and they are positive. On the other hand, you might note, and it may connect to money issues unresolved from the past as well, in the areas I've just outlined. And then we can also see that as we go Wednesday through to Sunday this week ahead, we have a mini trine forming in the sky. The trine is Mars talking to Saturn in your eighth house. Saturn is in the house of your chunky, Neptune is in the house of your chunky money, yes, with Saturn. And this is where you're having a clearer vision without the fog around your taxes, your investments, your stock monies, your 401k investment funds, maybe around shared money with a partner. You're just seeing it more clearly, but you're clearing it up from the 12th house. Some of this is soul work. You're like, this is very good soul work for you guys, for sure. 12th house, 8th house, clearing addictions, habits, bad habits and patterns, self-undoing, connected to karma and karmic chains that bind you. I'd say Wednesday through Sunday is a really good day to do a soul retrieval or to cut the cords with people and situations in your life that you need to disenchant yourself of or remove yourself from. Yeah. But also, what about this? What about the idea that you have Uranus shock and surprise and awe with Algol, which Algol can bring wealth, or someone in their workplace could lose their head, but it benefits you if they lose their head. Someone gets fired, right? Behind backroom deals and negotiations, fires the boss, you get the job. Or so you get a raise or a promotion. You could find yourself up leveled in the career through secret deals and negotiations being done on your behalf by others to sort of execute surprising, shocking changes of status in the career space. And it could include more money as a result, but also just technically something about your own visible reputation in the world and how people see you could be changing pretty exciting ways Wednesday through to Sunday. Saturn with Neptune rules your seventh house. If you're in a relationship that may not be the right one for you and you have to tell the world we're divorced, we're separating, we're quitting, it's over, I'm done. And I quit this addictive bad habit relationship. This is another thing that could happen, especially when Pluto ingresses shortly after into your seventh house of long-term love. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. I start the week with Mercury in a beautiful flow relationship to Saturn. They're looking at each other and coming together. And it's like, where are you going to come together with your significant other if you have one? And you want to endure, you want to go the distance, you want this to last, and you're feeling like Wednesday through to Sunday there's something that about travel with your partner, with a long-term partner, that can really solidify this relationship. If especially been hardened or difficult constrictions have happened since Saturn entered into the house of that relationship, the long-term relationship last March. Saturn is making sure this has a new foundation. I've known two Virgos who've upgraded the relationship to new levels of structural commitment, since this has happened, since Saturn went there. But Saturn's just as likely to end it if it doesn't like you having this no good relationship. So if it's good for you, good. If it's not. Saturn is the lord of the Grim Reaper and time and Chronos, karma. All right, keep it all in mind. I feel like that you may have some good news from a younger sibling. If you have a younger sibling, you might have some good news coming through the sky as well. It's important. And if you want to, sign a legal document or contract regarding travel or educational matters, this is good for you as well. And it helps stabilize relationships in your online world if you have any of those, like online connections, and you could stabilize your agreements and your relationships with virtual friendships as well. Monday through Wednesday through Sunday, though, we get this mini trine forming, and there's Mars in your 11th house of good spirit, which is positive house, but he's in rough shape, flowing to Neptune in the house of marriage, long-term committed love, business partners. So a beautiful dreamy flow. Neptune's retrograde, clear-minded, clear-sighted connection to how your interactions are going with a main love, a long-term love, and relationships to larger groups of friendship circles. So there could be some nice Wednesday through Sunday social activities that are quite dreamy. But also, I wonder, with Neptune up here, or Uranus up here in the 11th house, is your main squeeze going to meet you in a far off foreign land? Are you going to travel together and have some fun? Are you going to socialize with large groups of people in a spiritual setting? Time to join the church. Are you going to have fun with a business partnership arrangement? Book publishing deals are good for you here, especially if you're a Virgo trying to get a book deal going. Surprisingly positive results can happen Wednesday through Monday. If you are somebody who has a kind of a spiritual philosophy of any kind, there may be some big, powerful, and positive up levels in how you see God, truth, religion, the meaning of life in a positive way. Maybe you get down with a new spiritual liberating faith. It's not traditional, but you're coming closer to God, basically, Wednesday through to, in a positive way, not through trauma, Wednesday through to Sunday. Okay. And with Mars being, the travel ruler of short distance travel here, it is possible that a lot of you are going to even just, go away on a surprising and sudden and unexpected journey. But usually with the ninth house involvement, maybe to a place that's far off and foreign as well. Hey, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is an easy start this week. Mercury is going to be in a flow relationship to Saturn, and that's simply your money stuff and your money work, or health and addictions, food style and health, things like that. So, or buying a pet. So, beautiful opportunity for you to purchase a pet or receive a new possession called a pet in an auspicious and beautiful and flowing way anytime, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or good things are happening regarding money and rental properties, and contractual agreements maybe around those matters. At the same time, when Mercury's in your second house, and Saturn's there, you can apply for a job and, go for an interview, and you're probably going to get the job, especially with Mars in the 10th house as well. All your hard work, all your passion, all your directionality could lead to a new position, or a new job opportunity could come through your sky Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, moving forward, Wednesday through to Sunday, that's a mini grand trine that forms in our sky right here. Mars is in the workhouse where you've been driving, grinding, passionate, working hard, killing it, maybe burning out, maybe getting ready to quit. Maybe someone else got quit out on you. Someone quit the job quit them, or you're quitting. Maybe you might have that. I mean, quitters and losers and all of that, Mars. But Mars is leaving pretty soon. So you're just at the tail end of a 2-month intensity around the words working hard, passion, directionality around work. So that's happening. And Mars is saying, well, I'm flowing to Neptune in an opportunity trine. Where is all that hard work going to pay off Wednesday through Monday in what would look like career and reputation opportunities that are realistic and dreamy, and something you might have wanted to see. You might have been envisioning it for a while, maybe since 2011. And then when Neptune entered your house of work. And what about Uranus in the 8th house? Well, 8th house money is interesting. It comes suddenly with Uranus Algol, but it's chunky money that you don't earn, a royalty check, a massive ad income up boost from like ads you're running on YouTube or something, a massive amount of money coming through your spousal story, right? Somebody you're long-term connections with, well, they could suddenly show up. with a splash of money and put it on the table together. Money that could come through inheritance is always eighth house money. Uranus is the surprising element. Jupiter is in the house of father figures. Maybe some of you might get an inheritance from a father figure. In this case, it would be an elder. This could indicate the surprising news that you're going to lose a father figure, elder, and going to receive some money, especially Mars in the house of the categorical father. Otherwise, it could be some positive, surprising work and money news coming up that really feels like you're making some solid gains in work and finances and money. Again, the dates, Wednesday through to Sunday. All right, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It happens to start off soft and easy. Mercury wants to flow in a beautiful trine to Saturn, and they're facing each other. Saturn is retrograding since like June. And so there's stuff about the past, vis-a-vis creative projects, entrepreneurial business, children, fertility and pregnancy, and all of that in entrepreneurial business. And all of that is kind of going back and retrograding and going inward and maybe pulling back a little inward, not so much outward expression. And then boom, then we see Mercury says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I got an idea, a phone call or a text or email an idea I'm going to have, or a call, phone, text, email, or conversation I'm going to have with my children, with my lover, regarding a new idea for a creative project, a new idea for an entrepreneurial business. Something like that could be really nice, because once we see Saturn turn direct on the 15th of November, then all this ideation that's happening this week can really become more formative and more real. Now, because Algol Uranus is in your seventh house, some of this could be communication around fertility, children, and pregnancy that surprises you with a significant other as well. Wednesday through to Sunday, we're going to see Mars in a grand mini trine here. Mars is at the tail end of visas, passports, foreign lands, foreign shores, and travel. And he's like finished a 2-month stay there, and he's getting ready to leave. So you might be resolving higher educational, book publishing deals, foreign land and travel, religious and spiritual philosophy, or bureaucratic red tape might be coming to a close here in the next week or so. And as Mars is finishing up his journey through the ninth house, he is in a flow relationship to Neptune in your fifth house of children, romance, creativity, leisure travel. And he's also flowing to Uranus at a sextile. So it could be some surprising news coming through to do with your business, if you're an entrepreneur, to do with your partner, if you're with one, to do with your marketplace and clients. I mean, there's so many ways it could play out, but it could definitely be like a leisure travel opportunity suddenly emerging with surprising force. Visa, passport suddenly, issue resolved. But the surprise is in the seventh house. So look to your spouse, or look to your business partner, or look to some other significant person in your life to deliver some surprise that says, let's go off on a foreign trip maybe, or let's make a baby, or by the way, I have a baby, I'm pregnant, or by the way, we're going to be grandparents, something like that. That energy is very happening in the sky for many of you Scorpios, Wednesday through to Sunday. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. The sky opens up for you with this beautiful Mercury talking to Saturn. This is very subtle for you, maybe because this is your dreams at night. This is your inner life. This is your solitude. This is your isolation. This is also, backroom deals and negotiations. And Mercury flows from that 12th house all the way to Saturn in your fourth. Good contractual information, agreements, and news regarding land, home, and property, especially if it involves property in a country other than the one in which you're residing, foreign shore land, or other than one in which you were born. Also, some elements to do with rental properties may also emerge during this week ahead, to rent a property out that you own, or to become a tenant of a new property, or to tenant a property. Pay attention to your dreams at night. Could have some major revelations about your childhood and issues from your childhood, and resolve them in a really easy and solid and life-changing way. Dreams can be very important for you guys Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Wednesday through to Sunday, what we have is a mini grand trine. I like it a lot. The mini grand trine is going to be a big, nice energy in your sky regarding chunky money, homeland, property, real estate, and legacy family wealth and debts. So if you have a lot of debt of any kind, or you wish to eliminate debt, you could have a really good vibe Wednesday through Monday around debt elimination, selling a home, buying a home, refinancing a home, credit card debt elimination, getting some money from a family member, mom or dad. Oh yeah, lots of stuff can happen for Sagittarius. If you have property you wish to sell, Mars in your eighth house of mortgages and banks isn't too shabby. He's at a detriment though, so we would be a little cautious with that, but there could be some news here around money to do with that kind of financing showing up for you Wednesday through Sunday. And the positive part is the surprise. The sixth house is kind of like how you service the debt, is how you pay the debt. And so a surprising development around debt and payments of debt may emerge for you. And, the third house is where we get all the rewards of our eighth house of karma. It's ruled by Saturn. So again, there's some karmic rewards that may show up regarding property, land, real estate, buy, sell, purchase, or rent Wednesday through to Monday. Otherwise, a surprising development regarding a pet, right? You're going to get a pet, you want a pet, you didn't want a pet, but it's positive, so because it's all trining and sextiling developments regarding pets. When you add Neptune, you could say shocking, surprising dream pet arrives, and it feels like Mars in the eighth. It's a reincarnation of your dead pet. I mean, weird stuff like that. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Mm-hmm. Anyway, you're feeling good, guys. You got Venus making you more beautiful, more attractive, more congenial, more persuasive, and more charming during this week ahead. Venus is in Sagittarius. So whatever else is going on, you got the charm offensive. You are on it. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Capricorn, the sky's pretty lovely on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with Mercury in Scorpio in the house of good spirit, in a beautiful flow to Saturn in your third house. These are karma houses, they're relational. Some good developments for Capricorns with older brothers and sisters and younger, and maybe travel opportunities connected to brothers, sisters, or allies, benefactors, and people who support you, like a big brother or big sister. Also, some positive developments in your career gains, especially if your career is connected to online things, or you have a brick and mortar business, a career path, or you work in a brick and mortar company in your local environment. You may also find that you have some unexpected, positive, flowing, easy news and information coming from a friend or an elder sibling or brother figure, sister figure, older, the vibe, older brother, sister, like big bro, big sis, something like phone call, text messages, emails, offers, opportunities are the nature of a trine, maybe opportunities regarding neighbors and neighborhoods. Social events, just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a beautiful social event with the neighbors, neighborhood, people close at hand. There's going to be a lot of fun. As we get past this part and we move into Wednesday through Sunday, the mini grand trine is forming. That's your spouse or marriage partner in your seventh house. They may be very gnarly, very contentious lately. For the last 2 months, they're really grumpy, or you may be separated from them, time apart. Some distance there. But Mars is here now, flowing to Neptune in an opportunity trine. This is connected to opportunity for travel with your marriage partner or business partner travel, or many times opportunities to travel for something to do with the word client or customer. That's possible. And dreamy trips, retrograde to a place you've been before. Neptune in Cancer, seashores, for example. And you'll notice that maybe Wednesday through Monday, you either take that trip or plan that trip, because planning is also available in this kind of sky. You'll notice as well that Neptune and Mars are talking to the surprise Uranus on Algol in your fifth house. Okay, surprise, honey, we're pregnant. Surprise, we are taking a fun, enjoyable, pleasurable, romantic travel opportunity, and we're going to grab it by the horns. Surprise, I got an entrepreneurial job contract or agreement that I'm going to say yes to that involves travel. Surprise. All I can say is expect the unexpected. It's Uranus in your fifth house. Your children could have a surprise, or surprisingly, you have an opportunity to see them or travel to them, or one of your children surprisingly is traveling to see you. This can also include extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, travel opportunities regarding those people. Bit of a surprise, but good things are happening here. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I am one of you. I'm Aquarius rising. Welcome to the club. We have this story going on of Mercury and Scorpio. That's our 10th house of career and reputation, and in a flowing relationship to Saturn in the second house of earnings. Let's just boil it down to a nutshell. Some good developments regarding our ability to communicate, to negotiate, to converse, to ideate in our career and reputation, and a stabilization or a deepening of our financial well-being. Again, Monday through Wednesday. When we move forward into Wednesday through to Sunday, we get the mini grand trine. Now, look, this is nothing too shabby about it. We have Mars in the house of work since September 4th. If you're an Aquarius and you have something called work in your life, you're working your ass off. Mars is in his joy. He doesn't mind the hard work, but you're grinding. You may overdo it, burn out, burn your fingers or hands. Mars is in a sign of water because you're being careless. I'd have cut myself. I haven't burned myself. But you get the gist, right? So the hard work that you've been doing for 2 months, the passion, the drive, and the commitment, so there's a bit of a payoff here, Wednesday through to Monday, if you work at all. Otherwise, some of you may have quit your job by now, September through now. I quit, I'm done, I'm out of here, or your job quit you. But with this energy, as you can see, happening in the sky, and we're looking at this being mostly like a Wednesday through to Monday element, you're going to notice that Mars is going to flow to Neptune in that earnings, money, resources part of the chart. It's good for cutting out an addiction, right? That's a no-brainer with ease and grace, with a shocking, surprising, easy way because of your alcohol. So if you have an alcohol challenge and you want to quit, I'm calling my November next level November because I'm not going to drink at all, or sober October was sober Octoberish. So there's an example. I'll be like, oh my God, look at this Wednesday through Monday. I just not going to go there with my glass of wine at the end of my work day. How about you guys? How about some Aquarius is in the comments telling me how you're dealing with your wine lover's middle way? So there could be a massive turnaround with ease, grace, and excitement. Also, it could be about money. If you make money in Neptunian ways, which is storytelling, filmography, video, screenplay writing, YouTube, Instagram Reels, media platforms that involve moving imagery, then there could be a nice little glow up that surprises you Wednesday through Monday regarding that kind of stuff, work, and those kinds of things. The Algol wealth star in the fourth house. Well, let's go back to basics, right? The fourth house is where you live. It's your domicile. And it often involves land and property. And Algol can be wealth. And surprises are Uranus. And all of a sudden we see that Mars in the house of rental properties, like to rent a property out or to lease a property, is talking to Uranus. A surprising, unexpected opportunity for a dream pet, a surprising, unexpected, but delightful opportunity for a new rental agreement or contract or rental opportunity may emerge Wednesday through to Sunday. Check your emails, check your phone calls, check your text messages. With the Algol Uranus Mars conjunction here at 26 degrees or so back in July, it's already an indication that most of you will experience some radical changes regarding your home, property, land, and real estate situations over the course of the next 2 years. And we may be seeing the beginning of some of that, but it feels positive Wednesday through to Monday. Okay. And positive and surprising, not gnarly, not. Mars is the ruler of your reputation, your career, and he's making changes here, maybe connected to your home and your finances. And so he's got your back. He wants your career to succeed. So whatever these changes are, they're going to benefit you all around, not just like, it could be, I need a support animal. Like I could use a support animal, everybody. Someone get me a kitty cat, because sitting on my lap at the end of a day that I could pet instead of have a glass of wine might be my dream solution. Yeah. So your life, right? But if you are an Aquarius and you haven't quit your job or been passionately searching for a job, or you haven't been working your ass off, I am shocked. I'm shocked. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. So we like the nice start of the week on Monday. Don't forget, like, subscribe, guys, hit the notification bell, especially if you're in my live premiere. Have you been unsubscribed? Double check. Many people have by YouTube. Now, Mercury is the news god in the ninth house of a sibling two older than you, right? Two above you. So news from those kinds of people, news or information coming from far off foreign lands and places, news or information coming from government bodies, bureaucracy, and red tape organizations, including institutions with red tape, and news coming from far off foreign lands regarding visas and travel passports and stuff like that. So the Mercury is up there, and book publishing deals. And Mercury is up there for you, Pisces, and he's flowing to Saturn in the sign of your sun, moon, or rising. You know, Saturn here is like, be realistic, be sober-minded, be sage-like, put your boundaries up where you need them, and is retrograde, just getting ready to turn around on the 15th of October, but November, but you're feeling this kind of weight of your sagacity, and you're looking at Mercury, and he's got some good news for you, and you're going to receive it. You're like, thank you. This is really stabilizing. I like this information. Thank you for this news. Thank you for this communication, Mercury. What is it? I don't know. You'll have to tell me what it is in the comments, but it has a feel-good vibe. Mercury's in a Lakshmi luck prosperity house in Indian astrology, Vedic astrology. And so there could be a bit of good money luck or prosperity luck coming through as news or information, phone calls or text messages for sure. Look for that opportunity again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we look at the Wednesday through Sunday narrative, and then we're going to find Mars engaging in this mini grand trine here, which is auspicious and fortunate. That's kind of like Mars in your fifth house of children, talking to Uranus in the third house of a younger sibling, one younger, or travel. And Mars also flowing to Neptune, where you're having more realism around your long range goals and dreams because Neptune's retrograde, but your imagination is here. So some kind of positive, dreamy situation with regards to a child, a creative project, an entrepreneurial business endeavor, and travel, Uranus, Algol, and neighbors and neighborhood. And things to do with the aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and extended family. I would definitely look for that to arrive. Of course, Mercury in the ninth house. Talking to Algol across the way, look for your texts and phone calls and emails around Wednesday through Sunday. Now, if you're going to travel off of this and Mercury's still up in the ninth house, there is a potential for some journeys to see your children travel to see you, but also maybe some opportunities to travel connected to a sibling one younger and a sibling two older. Uranus is in the sibling younger, and the ninth house is siblings two older, and travel agreements, arrangements, opportunities, discussions that are positive. Yeah. If you're going to get anything good out of Algol and you're in the online world, you have a website, you have social media platforms, you address the reality of digital income, then Uranus can bring you a surprising and shocking, a viral video, maybe a viral content, something going really well that's entrepreneurial, because Mars is in the house of entrepreneurial, fifth house business endeavors. And if you could get news that you're going to be a grandparent as well. Mercury's in the house of grandchildren, and or your spouse, if you have a spouse, is having a grandchild, and of course you're a grandchild too, right? So, well, they're your children, but if you're in a second marriage, that's not true. So if you're in a third marriage in particular, you may be finding out you're going to be a grandparent, but you could also just find out that one of your children is going to produce a grandchild. That's another option in this kind of chart. You never know. You never know. You never know. And anything else I want to say? You have Saturn. If you're a Pisces moon, you're in a Sati Sate. I can't describe it all, but when Saturn comes into contact with your moon, okay, so it's a 7-year period, like 2.5 years before, 2.5 years and 2.5 years, a 7-year cycle. So when Saturn is in Pisces and your moon is in Pisces, you're in the peak period of a time of great challenge, but also a great reward. So for all of you Pisces, Pisces sun folk, remember it's going to get better. Saturn is on target to give you more depth and potential for success in your life, Sati Sate, but it can bring fame. I'm in a Sati Sate, okay? So I'll speak to that. And I have not been, I have not gone down the drain yet, but I'm early in my Sati Sate, right? I mean, I've got the moon in Aries. So I'm in the very beginning of a 7-year cycle of being tested. My moon is being tested, but also rewards come from that testing. So you Pisces moons are right in the thick of it already. You're in the middle point of it. So keep that in mind. All right. So that's all I have for you. I'm going to let this finish up so I can go have a martini hour. It's already it's 5:08 in my time zone in Vancouver, Canada. And thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget, YouTube has bounced so many of you they started dumping people off my channel in maybe the 3rd week of September. Now I'm recording this on the 3rd week of October. I don't know if they've stopped it yet. So check to see if you're subscribed. My subscriptions are way down. No, it's not because of my content. My content hasn't changed. It's because you're talking about politics. It's not because I'm talking about politics. It's because YouTube is algorithmically confessed to scrubbing bots from my channel. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm out of here. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.